I think it was thrilling. I was very happy to join Vitronics Soltec at that time.
Really fantastic to work for this company.
One of my best decisions to start working with.
This is the story of a successful global company called Vitronics Soltec. Founded in 1916 in Amsterdam, the company was initially called SIVA. It moved to Vijfhuizen in 1965 and then to Oosterhout 5 years later. After several renovations that expanded the facility to its limits, the company moved to its current location, the technical headquarters it occupies now. Being around for a whole century is an achievement in itself, but Vitronics Soltec plans to be around for another 100 years more. In this short documentary, we're reflecting on the past as well as looking to the future. These days, a long history offers no guarantee for a sustainable future, and this company knows that all too well. Vitronics Soltec has had its ups and downs, from exponential growth to downsizing when faced with economic headwinds.
At the time when I came in the company, there was no electronic industry.
At that beginning, Zefa was only a company with soldering irons.
Soldering equipment was the default before the introduction of electronic assembly as we know it today. This soldering tool is an excellent example. For decades, these type of products were sold to many different companies in the Netherlands and some in Germany. After his father retired, Harry Roepers took over the company in 1965, and that's when things really took off, achieving an entirely new level. Harry had the capacity and the drive to bring the company to a whole new dimension.
Harry was the heart of the organization.
When he was young already, he was already in soldering, also with his father already. So he had a lot of experience.
And soldering is something you cannot learn in a book. Soldering is something you learn by experience and by years.
He was always busy. When we entered the company, he was already there. When he left the company, he was still there.
It was a family man also, and a heart for his business and a heart for the people that were working for him.
Harry is an incredible salesperson. He can sell anything.
He sold everything also.
Soldering machines or bricks or whatever.
He can sell a dream.
I asked him, Harry, why the hell are you making such a wide stairs going to your office? I said, Jack, it's very simple. When I walk with a customer, I feel myself as a partner. So I stay with you, even on the stairs, as a partner. That was Harry.
It could be said that he had the widespread surge in electronics on his side, but his perspective on how to be successful was what transformed Soltec from a small company to the global success story it is today. He practically invented a concept that is common nowadays, being a preferred supplier for a manufacturer that was growing very fast at the time, a company called Philips. You may have heard of them. Philips created a wide range of consumer electronic products that required more and more soldering solutions. Along the way, the name Zefa was changed into Soltec, short for soldering technology, and Philips chose Soltec to be their sole supplier for all the soldering machines they needed, all over the world. And they needed quite a few of those crucial tools. In the years that followed, OEM companies from around the globe would do the same thing.
Big change was, of course, the fabrication of our own, developing of our own wave soldering systems.
Philips was my account, and Philips was looking for different machines. And step by step, the interest was there to follow the Philips strategy.
That was a very important customer.
Philips was good in terms of the technical know-how and the support. Harry was good in selling.
The management of Soltec was very ambitious to grow together with their major customer.
It's a consumer-driven market. The consumer needs to request a new process and then they can develop a machine.
I think the highlight for Soltec was entering the market in the United States. That made the big boom.
I think Philips was really key to our industrial and international coverage. We just had to do the right things and business would come in.
And the reason was that technology did change in television sets and in audio equipment.
If you know Jacques van Vlerken, who was the chief buyer, if he came here, he was buying machines for the whole world because he was the global buyer. And you're talking numbers. You're talking big numbers.
It was really bottom up. Everybody pitched in what was needed, and that created an enormous positive atmosphere. The fun part at Soltec, that's very special.
We were still on the Vijf Eikenweg. Well, it was a habit at the end of the week on the Friday afternoon. We were sitting together in our cantina. We made our own bar, had some beer, and we talk about the business, the things we have done that week and our experiences and the fun, the things to laugh about. It was really great. And that in the beginning it was only an hour, maybe 2 hours.
3 hours.
But later 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes middle of the night. It was great fun.
With a lot of humor, but very consistent in the pressure. They have to meet Philips quality requirements.
I remember when I had a problem in Bruges, in Belgium, with the machine or with the transport system. I can tell you 8 hours later, there were 2 technicians in there. They jumped in the car and they went for it. Always.
But it is not only clever from me, it is clever from both sides. Because for this marriage, you need 2 parties. For every marriage, by the way.
He always realized what he did promise.
We were involved from the beginning in the new product. So when Nokia started in 2 years a new telephone, a new product, they had discussions already with us how we could solve the automation and soldering already 2 years ahead. And that was new to those days. Now it is normal.
Many machines were developed, including the Delta machine.
The Delta machine was for me really a state-of-the-art machine, and it was really a workhorse in the factory.
One of Harry Ruper's talents was to surround himself with the best people for each task. One of these talented employees was Herman van Tilburg, the chief engineer who developed most of the machines. Herman was one of the most important assets for the company's ever-growing success, allowing it to evolve into a bigger and bigger company.
The father of Tim van Tilburg was one of the guys pushing hard.
Herman van Tilburg was a very bright guy, unique engineer, driven by developing new things, new challenges.
The father of Tim van Tilburg, he had made by that time all our machines and the automatic board handling systems, that's our transport systems. He had made modules of it.
Not everybody can read a 2D drawing. We made little models so that we could play around and give the customer an idea of what we're looking for.
He was incredible creative in that. I remember in the beginning, in the early 80s, this was very much part of the sales process.
I need to say that all the people in those years were a part of this company. Nobody was working 8 hours, actually. Everybody was engaged in his free time for this company, and that is the family.
I had very good people in the form of Marlies.
Marlies.
Great person. Because he had such a trust in her, and she She had eyes and ears everywhere, and so she could report exactly what was going on.
My preference was to work with Mr. Rupen, so I did that. The management was very good, and we had very good agents.
In the beginning we were only 6 people. When we moved to Oosterhout, there were already 10 or 12 people. But then slowly it went more and more.
We grow very often 30-40% per year. Plus, the other positive thing there again was that whole ITT and beltelephone switched over to Soltec soldering machines worldwide.
So we were hot at that time. We were really hot.
We had to develop the program and the portfolio, and the customers were asking for things, and some of the things didn't work very well at the beginning.
But we had shipped so many faulty products. We had so many angry customers that we really went to all our customers to mend what we did wrong. And so we focused on keeping our customers happy. And by doing that, we really created very strong bonds with our customers. Nobody knew who would get it, but if you got it, you had to deliver product in 3 weeks. So they needed the machines in 2 weeks. And we were the only ones who could deliver, custom configured.
Soltec was really an overflow of requirements coming from all parts of the world.
Its growth seemed to have no limits. At one point in time, there were over 200 employees in the Dutch factory. It was the 80s, and household electronics were booming business. But keeping the company financially sound meant that major investments were needed. To make that happen, Soltec was purchased in 1983 by Dover, an equity company. Harry Rupers sold the company, but he went on to buy part of it back and then sell it again later on. For a profit, of course. That was Harry. Time went by, and Soltec was renowned for its wave soldering machines. But the trend shifted, and reflow machines took over the market. Moreover, Soltec faced challenges in its endeavors to gain a foothold in the USA. But an opportunity arose when Soltec purchased Vitronics, already well known in the US. This acquisition not only helped this Dutch company access the US market, but also offered an additional mutual advantage. Vitronics already had very successful reflow machines, and had been less successful in wave soldering machines. It was 1997, and it turned out to be a match made in heaven.
Dover, in my perception, was a company that they buy the companies, but they let the people do the companies the way they want.
But Dover was really fantastic for us, the best period we ever had.
They really trusted you completely.
I think it's the intrinsic motivation of people that drove them to be successful. And that is, I think, mainly because the company created an atmosphere in which they could do that.
The spin-off of going together with Universal. Universal is the machine manufacturer for insertion and onsertion, and we do the soldering. We are a second. And Rudy Lawson, the president from Universal, and I were also very good friends. And he said, Harry, why don't we buy you? And then we go together. I said, that's okay. Also because it gives a very strong financial base. I don't think that we were strong enough then when there should be or would be a dip in the economy and the order income would, but it has happened later, dramatically go down. I don't know if we could survive that.
Only the market share of reflow was small for us, and that was the opportunity for us to buy Vitronics.
Yeah, Vitronics was a terrific company, had a fantastic name. So we bought that company off the American Stock Exchange and brought the two companies together. We deliberately put the name Vitronics in front of Soltec, just to show how important Vitronics was, and to make sure that we would be one company. And I think that happened pretty quickly.
Vitronics Soltec, as the new company was renamed, was finally able to expand in the US and later on to the rest of the world. New offices were opened in Asia, not only in Singapore, but also in Japan, Malaysia, and in Korea. And in this ever-changing world, production moved in 2003 to China. This shift resulted in enormous downsizing at the facility in Oosterhout.
To just take the same part of the market, we were also forced to lower our prices, and that was not really possible with the machines built in Oosterhout.
It was also in that time that we built a factory in China. Learning Chinese, how to build a soldering machine, was a heck of a job.
So there were a lot of struggles.
So it was learning by falling and standing up, yeah, the hard way.
It worked fantastic with the Siemens people, with the Ericsson people, with the Philips people. It worked great, yeah.
You see that that company was growing and changing all the time. So the demand from the customers is always changing. That makes it interesting. It is for military, it is for aviation, for car industries.
Dover was originally a perfect partner for Vitronics Soltec to facilitate the company's development. But all that changed when Dover sold their shares to Francisco Partners in 2006. As an investment company, Francisco was mainly interested in profits only, which left virtually no room to invest in development. This focus was frustrating for the management at the time.
We were part of Dover for quite a long time, and that felt like a warm bath. And you learn from each other, and it was like going on autopilot. And then all of a sudden you get into venture capital, and this is a different world.
I think it stopped when we could not develop anymore freely.
I also saw the company growing. Then it's very hard to see that you see the company going down.
But all that changed when ITW bought the company in 2008. ITW holds various interests in well-known companies and is well aware that you need to invest in new machines and new technologies to achieve success in the long run.
Other people at Universal had their own interests, and which were not 100% aligned with Soltec's. So I was very happy and fought for the fact that we would be away from the wings from Universal, independent company within Dover.
The culture of ITW is a different culture of Vitronics Soltec, and I think both have their value. But it's very difficult to mix them and be successful the way we used to be.
Throughout the decades, one thing never changed: the devotion of the people that have worked for this remarkable company over the years. It's no exception for employees to work for 30, 40 years or even more at this company. In fact, the majority have spent their careers here. Even the second-generation staff, like Tim van Tilburg, proves the company is not a job, but a way of life.
For me, Vitronics Soltec is like a family. What I've learned in all those years of what I've seen, they give you a lot of opportunities. If you want to learn, you can learn a lot in this company. And that's my own experience. And that's mainly why I also work nearly 40 years in this company. Because every day it's not the same. Every day is a new challenge, new customers, new technology in our industry. And that is for me the challenging part of this company.
If I look back, all people, sometimes they had to leave because the market was bad, but they worked here forever. They would never leave on their own.
And the other thing is, when you talk to people who left the company, whatever the reason is why they left the company, everybody is still missing this company. Everybody talks about the company, and it is always in the positive way they're talking about Vitronics Soltec, CIVA or Soltec.
The relationships, I really missed it when I left the company.
I can't imagine a life without CIVA, Vitronics Soltec. It was so fantastic.
When you work there for more than 25 years, you have the company on your heart.
It was an all or nothing.
I live for Vitronics Soltec, I need to say. It's my world, it's my life, and I hope for another 10 years.
But what about the future? What needs to be done for this company to stay around for many, many years to come?
If you look today, Everything goes much faster. You have other type of customers than in the past.
And I think that loyalty is not the same today.
Correct.
I think the opportunities are still there. I think there's more competition, so it's more challenging than ever before. It's globalized. Some products have commoditized.
How to cope with copy and paste equipment from the Chinese or the Asian market.
Especially when the Chinese start to develop. Because they copy paste, but they start to develop also.
You need to be open for customers, more open than we were in the past, you know. You need to listen to customers. Because my opinion is still that the customers are making our equipment.
Yeah, that's so important, having the right product.
Innovative products, unique products, then they can penetrate the market.
And, listen to the customers. That is so important. That's what we have learned in the past.
Keep in touch with development and be part of the development.
They know everything about soldering technology. Yeah? The only thing is that they have to do the right things in product development and protect themselves.
I feel innovation, absolutely. I would say there's a big opportunity, but put the heart back to where it belongs.
But I see that they are coming back, their future, with the new developments which are unique that they are making now.
I believe with this all attitude, we can survive or even we can sustain in the future.
I think the way they do it at the very moment, that is the right way. They are strong. I think they are the biggest and the only one at the moment, with selective soldering. And when I see the beautiful tools they make and the hope and a lot of knowledge that is involved in that, then you are in the right way.
Passion for our products, passion for the process, passion for our customers' success.
Just from our own track record of doing process capability studies, the Vitronics equipment has been very repeatable. It's the point we've been able to run the same recipe on multiple machines or even at different factories and still get the same results on our products.
Yeah, good service, quick resolution to issues when they come up, ease of getting parts, and somebody always answers the phone.
The soldering results are very good.
We've been extremely happy from the install to the post-installation support, and the overall functionality of the oven has been great.
Product is, you know what it's going to do, and its performance is at the highest level.
Not just the quality of the oven, but the service too.
It's honestly the most reliable machine in our building.
Oh my goodness, those guys are prepared.
We always took the customer first.
We did nearly everything for the customer.
Their DNA is technology leadership. Beat the shit out of the competition.
When I think of Vitronics Soltec, I think about a bunch of people who are very autonomous, but at the same time really good team players who manage to make the most impossible things possible.
I wish them for the next coming 100 years a good success.
This short film is not only a tribute to a remarkable company and its evolution, it's a tribute to all the people involved, devoted employees and their eternally patient families, customers without whom there would have been no business at all, suppliers partnering up to make it all happen, and distribution partners who build the bridge from global reach to local connection. Vitronics Soltec is here to stay.